Throw it down, big man.
Welcome everybody back to the Throw It Down Big Fella podcast. I am your host with the most, hopefully, Greg Rufus. Thank you so much for joining me on this wonderful episode, you guys. Well, you guys, we're here. Super Bowl 59, it is here. Chiefs and Eagles rematch of 2 years ago. That was a great Super Bowl. We're having a rematch again, you guys. So it should be a very fun game. Of course, on this episode, you guys, I'm going to break down the conference championship games, the Eagles versus the Commanders, and of course, the Bills versus the Chiefs. One great game, and the other one, of course, if you were an Eagles fan like myself, great game as well. But the Commanders, nothing, keep your heads up. That was a great game. They have a bright future. Jalen Daniels is that guy. So I'll break both those games down the best way I can. And also the Memphis Grizzlies, break down their week. Great week, except for yesterday. Yesterday was a beatdown by the New York Knickerbockers. They just controlled everything about that game, and they just dominated the Grizzlies. But I'll break all the stuff down that happened for them this week. And also the Memphis Tigers, an undefeated week. The Memphis men's Tigers basketball team undefeated at home. The Grizzlies undefeated at home. And also talk about any other stuff going on in the National NBA, NFL news going on. So should be a great episode, you guys. But before I get started, you guys, please subscribe to the podcast on YouTube at Throw It Down Big Fella. And also follow on Instagram at Throw It Down Big Fella Pod. Great shows we got coming up. I got my boy Michael Miles. He will be in this studio coming up on this Saturday. We have we're gonna have a great conversation. I have a couple topics for him to talk about, so it should be good. Please check on our YouTube page. Also the Reels that's on Facebook, that's on Instagram. Doing the best I can to give you guys some little sample contents, but you got to make sure you got to follow the whole podcast, follow the whole episode. If the full episode will be on YouTube, maybe Instagram in the future. I had a Facebook Live a couple days ago, a little mini preview of what I'm going to talk about today. So you guys, please subscribe to my podcast and continue to bless me in this wonderful new opportunity that I have coming up, you guys. It should be great. It should be a great ride. And I'm here for you guys, and I'm here to give you guys some good information, and hopefully you guys can take and move forward for the rest of your life. So please subscribe to my podcast. All right, you guys, let's break down what happened in the conference championship games first. Of course, the Washington Commanders played my Philadelphia Eagles, and it was a lopsided 55-23 victory. Saquon Barkley did his thing, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Daniels, great season. Keep your head up. He threw a pick. He threw a touchdown to Terry McLaurin. Sky's the limit for the Washington Commanders. Shout out to Dan Quinn. Shout out to Cliff Kingsbury, offensive coordinator there. Sky's the limit for the Washington Commanders. Although they have a lot of question marks going into the free agency. I think 9 of their defensive players are free agents. They have 11 total, 2 on offense, 9 on defense. It's going to be interesting to see moving forward what this team's going to look like. Get some more help for Jalen Daniels, because if you could just and I love Zach Ertz. But if Zach Ertz is the main guy, he had like 11 catches, 100-some yards. Former Eagle, love him to death. But if he's your main guy, they need to get somebody else. And it should be, and Terry McLaurin is great too, but I feel like they're missing one more piece to that puzzle. Rather if it's a wide receiver, running back, Brian Robinson, didn't really do that much, had 11 carries, I think 30-some yards, 40-some yards. If they're looking for something new, something positive, I think they need to get something else. Get maybe Tyreek Hill if he's available. I know Tyreek Hill can be a little disruptor, but they need a big-time playmaker. Maybe Devontae Adams is available. So it'd be interesting to see the pieces that they add and subtract for the Washington Commanders. It'd be interesting offseason. And Jalen Daniels, the whole saying is sophomore slump. I don't see it until I I don't believe he's going to be a sophomore slump until it happens, And I just think Jalen Daniels, if he continues the path that he's on, he's a great guy. He gives God the glory first. He seems like a real rounded dude. His mama, I don't know if you saw this now. His mama was like, those women, you need to watch out for those women. I mean, fair advice to Mrs. Daniels and to his son, but if he finds the right woman, God fearing, if he finds the right woman, that's who he wants to be with. But I see what Mama Daniels is trying to do, but gotta let his son live a little bit. He's old enough to make his own decisions, what he wants to do. But I think sky's the limit for this young man and for the team. Great team. They haven't been to the NFC Championship game since 1992. I was 3 years old. 3 years old the last time the Washington Commanders were, now they were known back then as the Redskins, but they're gonna be good. The NFC is gonna be even better. Detroit, San Francisco is gonna come back, so it's gonna be a fight. Even if with the Eagles, it's gonna be a fight. It's not gonna be a cakewalk through the NFC. So shout out to Jalen Daniels and the whole Washington Commanders team. Now to the Philadelphia Eagles, Saquon Barkley. I can't say words and adjectives can't describe how great Saquon Barkley is. It just can't. It just can't. I can't fantasize what this season would be without Saquon Barkley. I mean, I personally just want to thank the Giants GM for giving up on Saquon Barkley. I mean, it is the gift that keeps on getting. I don't understand. I just don't understand why they gave up on Saquon. It befoul me. I mean, he was hurt, I think, like 2 of the years. He was still prolific, had 1,000 yards rushing. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't want to say he wasted his years in Giants because that would be a disservice to all the Giants fans out there. He was great for the New York Giants, but they needed some extra pieces, extra offensive linemen. Maybe the coach wasn't his offensive coordinator. The coach wasn't the same. I don't know. They pulled the plug so quick, and the Philadelphia Eagles was like, okay, I don't see why we don't need to quit on this guy. Let's go ahead and go all in for him. And you see the fruits of the labors that the Philadelphia Eagles have now that they have Saquon Barkley. He changes life for them. I mean, you can just sit back, relax, and just enjoy. Not even our offensive line. Our offensive line is great studs. It's even when he gets beyond the line of scrimmage, the moves that he makes, the Madden moves, the spin moves, the jump moves. He jumped backwards against Jacksonville this season. The moves that he has, it's so elusive. I didn't see this elusiveness in the New York Giants. I saw a power running back that when he got opportunities, he was going to try to stiff arm somebody. He was going to try to go body to body with them. Physical runner, like maybe Brandon Jacobs that they had back in the day, New York Giants. I didn't think he was like, like Emmitt Smith or Herschel Walker, maybe like a little Herschel Walker, like Emmitt Smith or LaDainian Tomlinson, like people that's elusive that can get you one move and then bam. I mean, you guys saw that in full effect against the Washington. Like the first play, Washington drove down 18 plays, converted 2 fourth downs. I'm surprised they didn't go for it again on 4th down. They had to get field goal 3-0. The first play, Saquon. Although the tackling of Bobby Wagner, it was very, very bad. But when he got past the line of scrimmage and he had the one move, got off the defender, went around to the right and just went. His speed, he might be one of the fastest. I think Chris Johnson, like the running back for Tennessee Titans back then, was fast. I don't know. We have to like really check and see Saquon's speed because his speed is elusive. It's top 10. It's top 10 speed to me. Like how elusive Saquon Barkley is, but he's so fast off the second step. Like after the offensive line, like in the open space, he's so quick and elusive, and it's just fun to watch. It's amazing to watch, and I just the Giants, man. Thank you. I mean. Thank you, New York Giants, for giving us Saquon Barkley, and I think they deserve half the Super Bowl ring if the Eagles were to pull it off. I mean, he changed life for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's from the city, from the area. It's just great. It's just great to see him happy, live life again. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I mean, it was just I'm going to go back to the game. I'm sorry. It was just defensive domination. Jalen Daniels threw a pick to Quinon Mitchell, to Terry McLaurin. They forced 3 turnovers. I think Washington will learn from this. I think they'll be better ball security. I think that'll be a vocal point for their offseason and the training camp next year. But ball security, hanging onto the ball, not commit turnovers. I mean, you see a difference. They scored 45 points against Detroit, didn't turn the ball over. You see against Philadelphia Eagles, they scored only 23 points, and they had like 3 turnovers, 1 on kickoff, 2 on offense, and the interception by Jalen Daniels. That's 4 turnovers. So you see the complete difference from one week to the next week. But Washington, keep your heads up. Great season. Love you guys to death. Your little brothers to me. I'm just keeping it how it is. And for Philadelphia, the mission's not over. I feel like, they got a great opponent, probably the best opponent they'll ever have in the Super Bowl so far right now. But to be continued on this journey for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that was the first game. Eagles dominated. And then the finale game, what a great game. The Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. 32-29 goes Kansas City. Josh Allen, he can't get over Patrick Mahomes. This is the 4th. He's the only man in NFL history to lose 4 times to one guy in the playoffs. Let that sink in. Like, all the stuff the Buffalo Bills have been through in their past, like in the 90s when they went to the Super Bowl and they lost wide right, wide left. Like, the agony that was. And now they can't beat one single guy. They can't beat one man. And it's just devastating. And Josh Allen, the play calling, the tush pushing that they tried to do, it was just crazy. It was crazy. Like, I understand that certain teams want to try to tush push, but for them to try twice, not get it, question the referee's spotting of the ball, I get it. I mean, it was just a bad call. I feel like for the Bills' sake, for their offensive plan, they should have just ran the ball more with James Cook. James Cook was really doing good. He was really doing good that game. I just don't understand why the emphasis on not giving them the ball the second half. I just don't understand. That's a questionable thing for the offensive coordinator to look into. And I know there are going to be questions about Sean McDermott. Should he be fired? I don't think he should. I think they need to probably change some of the offensive defensive stuff. Something's going to happen in the coaching staff, because it's the same thing. It's like, are you guys really prepared for this? Like, it's the little details you need to do to beat number 15 and Andy Reid. He's magical. He's the smartest quarterback in NFL history. I just don't understand what the philosophy is to try tush pushing it twice, or some of the play calling, like that 4th down when they were doing an all-out blitz and the schemes that the offensive lineman blocking, like it was Josh Allen needs to pick that up. It's like you see the quarterback coming in, a little sneaking in, so you know he's coming in. It's like have the protection on the right side. It's so simple for Josh Allen. I think he made that game much harder than it should have been, and he's such a great quarterback, Josh Allen. He's such a great quarterback. I don't want to take nothing away from the man. He's great. It's the little stuff like that makes you just scratch your head. Like, really? Like, what do we? It's just really sad. And I know he's gonna move forward from this. Moving forward, he's gonna get to the Super Bowl. Trust and believe. Him, Lamar Jackson, they're gonna get to the Super Bowl. It's just Patrick Mahomes and that great Chiefs team and Travis Kelce are in their way. It's the Michael Jordan era. Like the Charles Barkleys and the Patrick Ewings and the John Stockton, Carmelo, they never got a taste of a championship because Michael Jordan was always in the way. He was always in the way. At some point, that door's going to be open for them at some point. But it's just the simple, small things. Like I said with Baltimore last week against Buffalo, Mark Andrews got to make the catch. Lamar Jackson cannot turn the ball over. You have to be perfect to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. No excuses. You got to be perfect. And they just weren't. And Dalton Kincaid should have caught the ball. Like, in a world where the tight ends need to be more elusive and catch the ball and be perfect, it's just not a lot of good tight ends outside of Kelce. You can add Dallas Goedert probably, but there's not a lot of sure-handed tight ends. And I just wish you could probably throw Isaiah Likely in and Mark Andrews. I guess you could throw them in. It's just Mark Andrews had a bad game. There needs to be more hand-secure tight ends in the league, and maybe it's coming in a year or two from now, but it needs to be better. It needs to be better for the tight end perspective because Dalton Kincaid should have caught that ball. He should have caught the ball. Even how great Josh Allen threw the ball, that was even crazier. Three people right there, half a second, and he was able to just heave it, and he still was able to find Dalton Kincaid and just needs to catch the ball. Plain and simple, needs to catch the ball. But Buffalo Bills, great year. It will be interesting to see how they move with their offseason, defensive plans. Do they? I mean, if you saw the first couple throws Josh Allen had, they could have been picked. They could have been intercepted. And I'm just like, Josh, like, what are you doing? I mean, it's the simple stuff to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It is easier said than done. I get it, but Buffalo Bills have nothing to keep their head up. It's interesting to see what they moving forward. Does the competition in the AFC East increase them a little bit more? You know, the Jets have a new head coach, Aaron Glenn. The Patriots, will they be better with Mike Vrabel? And with Miami, you know, there's still the offense is still there, pending Tula's health, so you know they're going to be there. So will the AFC East be more loaded, or will it just be another cakewalk for Buffalo? Time will tell, but interesting to see what they do in the offseason. The Kansas City Chiefs looking for the three-peat, back-to-back. I mean, what other analogies is there to be? I mean, you know, they have Patrick Mahomes, you have Andy Reid, greatest coach, Travis Kelce. The crazy part is DeAndre Hopkins is not really doing that much. And then you look at Hollywood Brown, really, you know, was minimum coverage as well. They find a way. Kareem Hunt had a quiet game, but he was still effective. So it's the little things that the Kansas City Chiefs do that make them dangerous. They make them one of the best teams in NFL history. And they have an opportunity to become the only team that could three-peat. It's going to be crazy. So Chiefs-Eagles, Super Bowl, rematch of 2 years ago. It's going down in New Orleans. It should be a fun atmosphere. I'll dig deeper a little bit more next week because the game is on February 9th. It's going to be interesting to see Kendrick Lamar. If you heard Kendrick Lamar and SZA are going to perform at the halftime show, that's going to be great. It's just going to be. It's going to be fun. Let me know what you guys think about this Super Bowl matchup. Are you excited about this matchup? I know a lot of people just didn't want Chiefs-Eagles. They probably wanted Eagles-Bills or Commanders-Chiefs or Commanders-Bills. They're sick of Chiefs-Eagles. They're sick of the Chiefs. I mean, but are you really cheering for the three-peat? Are you really cheering for Philadelphia, Saquon to get his ring, Jalen Hurts to get his ring? They worked so hard for it. Who are you cheering for? Who you got? Let me know in the comment section. Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl should be a really, really, really good game. All right, you guys, let me get into stuff locally besides all the craziness in NFL. The Memphis Tigers, they handled their business this past week, undefeated at home, Wichita State, UAB, great games coming up. I believe they are on the road. Let me do a little research here, but going back to Wichita State, UAB, the UAB Sunday, dominating. I think they won by 30 points, just dominated that game. They never looked back. So they took care of business like they're supposed to. So shout out to them as well. So Memphis, they're on the road Thursday night against Tulane. Make sure there's no other games for. And they moved up 5 spots. They were 24 ranked. Now they are 19th ranked. Yeah, they play at Tulane and they play Rice on Sunday afternoon. So two road games they got coming up, Tulane, Rice. I think it's just well advised to say keep winning. Don't let up. Don't take the gas off the pedal. You gotta keep going. Enough said. But great win they had against Wichita State and UAB. UAB was supposed to be the prohibitive favorite to win the conference. That ain't gonna happen. So just continue to do what they're doing, the small stuff, the small things, and they'll be able to do it. PJ Haggerty, give him credit, give him a shout out. ACC Player of the Week, just great. Just a dominating performance from start to bottom. 16-4. See what they do moving forward for the rest of the regular season into the conference tournament. Should be a doozy. All right, the Memphis Grizzlies had a very good week as well. Of course, they had their MLK game. They dominated that, like I mentioned. Over the week, let me see. Sorry, I had a back-to-back Friday. Starting with the New Orleans Pelicans, won that game. No John Zion. I'm just kind of bummed out. You know, those two are really close to each other. But the Grizzlies were able to win 139-126. And then Saturday, back-to-back, they played the Utah Jazz. Shout out to Devin Eubanks. I mean, I know you, but not a lot of people know you. And you were trying to be a tough guy. You got in Zach Eaton's face. What's up? What's up? Zach Eaton said, "Look, you're not gonna keep doing that." John Moran even told him those a little dirty those screens. I think Ja got PTSD because those screens. That screen that he had against New Orleans a couple weeks ago hurt him, and he was out for a couple games. He was like, "Look, man, don't do that. We're not gonna try. We're not gonna do that right now." So for him to stand his ground, Zach Eaton, defend his teammates, you love to see that. You would love to see teammates like that defend your players back, and and Zach Eaton did. So shout out to Zach Eaton for that. Great win Friday and Saturday. And the New Orleans, the Charlotte Hornets 132-120 that Wednesday. So great to see just the dominant performance that they put up against those three teams. Now the bad. Yesterday, they went down to New York City, and I don't know if it was I don't know what it was like. I mean, I'm sure they were excited, buzzed out the frame. I don't know, but the New York Knicks put a beat down on the Memphis Grizzlies, 143 to 106. It was the worst. I think it's got to be the worst loss of the year. Um, I don't. I want to say just chalk this up and just move forward. I really do. The part of me just wants to say, okay, it's just one game. Move forward. Let's just go ahead and get ready for our next game. I think their next game is Thursday against Houston, and they also have a game Sunday against the Milwaukee Bucks. That's Sunday, February 2nd. And do they have one more prior to me coming back? No. So yeah, they only have a Wednesday game against Toronto. So yeah. So I wanted to say, okay, just toss it out, throw the stats, throw in the trash can. Let's just move on to the next game. Let's just go on from there. But the other side of me is like, can they start winning against playoff teams, like really really good teams? They can beat up on the cupcake teams. They can beat up on New Orleans, Charlotte, Utah, Portland. You could throw in Portland, maybe Brooklyn. Like you can throw in all the horrible teams. They could just cakewalk through them. But the good teams like the New York Knicks, the Houston Rockets, the Oklahoma City Thunder, the LA Lakers, the Clippers, like you need to win those type of games. Win those type of games. And they're not doing it. They're not winning those type of games, which they need to win, and they're not doing it. They need to win playoff type of games and be ready for it. And to lose by 37 points, I get it. You know, it's the New York Knicks and they're great. Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges, Miles McBride had an awesome dunk, a posterizing dunk, one of the dunks of the year nominee. They still need to show up. They still need to show up and put some type of effort in. And it was no effort at all. Like none from the jump. So it's like, did you just enjoy a free trip to New York to get out, enjoy the city, enjoy the life? I don't know what their plan was Monday night, what they were thinking about, what the plan was. I don't know. But it wasn't good to see. It was just not good to see. But it's a little cause for concern. They need to start winning against playoff teams, really caliber good teams, in order for the Grizzlies to be taken seriously. They're a great team. I get all that. And coming up this week, they're going to announce the All-Star reserves. I truly believe Jaren Jackson Jr. should be an All-Star reserve. It'll be interesting to see him and Anthony Davis. I'm sure Victor Wembanyama is going to be one of them. But it probably goes down to Anthony Davis or Jaren Jackson. I would get all three of them there, really. I personally would. I think all three of them, from a forward position, Victor, Anthony Davis, and Jaren Jackson Jr., all three of them deserve to be in the All-Star game. I think John Morant missed too many games for him to be considered, but Jared Jackson Jr. should be All-Star reserve. We will see about that Thursday and react to that as well. But the Grizzlies, they need to show up against caliber teams. They do. In order for me to be like, okay, this team is legit, they're top-notch, they need to show up against playoff contending teams. And so let's see what happens the rest of the week. Like I said, they play Houston Thursday, marquee game, and then Sunday against Milwaukee Bucks on ESPN at Milwaukee. Fear the Deer. Let's see what happens, Miss Grizzlies. Let's just see what happens. What do you guys think about the Grizzlies? The week they had and the blowout game they had Monday night against the Knicks. Is it cause for concern, or is it just another loss and try to move forward and see what happens? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Speaking of just drama and people not just wanting to be there, Jimmy Butler's situation is intensified to levels I didn't think was possible. So the other day, he was just coming off suspension 2 games the other day for missing a team flight and games before conduct detrimental to the team. Now he's been suspended indefinitely. He found out that he was not a starter. He was not going to be in the starting lineup. I think it was Hayward that was replacing him, and Jimmy Butler's come off the bench. He didn't roll with that. Walked out of practice, walked through, and he has been suspended indefinitely for the team from the Heat. It is no telling if or when he will get traded. It kind of leans towards me. Phoenix Suns might have the edge because they just traded for 3 first-round draft picks, so it's a highly possibility that he might be going to the Phoenix Suns. Possible, but time will tell. I heard the Memphis Grizzlies thing. It's like he's not gonna get traded to any other. He could get traded to any other team, but Memphis. It's just odd to me. Like he would just point out Memphis like that. I find it very odd, and I find it like okay, maybe Memphis is a contender because out of the blue, the Memphis Grizzlies, nobody else can trade for Memphis. There is a world where I can see Jimmy Butler here in Memphis Grizzlies. I can do it. I think the GM of the Grizzlies, I think he might be tired. He said, you know what? It's time for me to get a superstar. It's time for me to try. At least, and it is a rental. It is very risky to get Jimmy Butler when you know he's there for a rental, and then possibly he wants to go somewhere else. It's a very risky opportunity. But if I'm the Grizzlies, if I'm Houston, if I'm maybe the Lakers, maybe somebody else, I would go for it. Phoenix, I would go for it. Jimmy Butler's still a caliber guy. I know his attitude and all that. Maybe having a dim light right now. I would still go for Jimmy Butler. I still think Jimmy Butler could be the X Factor type of guy that you need moving forward. I think he could be that guy. I think he could be that guy that you'd be like, all right, I can go to battle with this guy. I could do this and this and this. I'm ready. I'm ready to take on that challenge. So it'd be interesting to see where Jimmy Butler goes. I'm being optimistic here. I think Jimmy Butler can be the guy that could be the missing piece to a championship contender team for 1 year maybe. And then maybe after that rental doesn't work, maybe he signs the extension. So I would keep my eye on Phoenix and Memphis and the Lakers. Like, I think it might, within a week or two, could be solved and all that. Maybe All-Star weekend, maybe. But he has run his time out in Miami, and he took him to 2 championships, I believe. Yeah, 2 NBA championships. Or 1 championship in the bubble. I'm sorry, but it's just sad to see Jimmy Butler go out like this. I mean, he's a great guy. He seems like I saw him on a Netflix show. He seems like a really, really good dude. But it'd be interesting to see where Jimmy Butler fits for the rest of the season. Let me know what you guys think. You think Jimmy Butler is worth the trouble and headache to join any team, any playoff contending team? Do you think he's worth the hassle, Jimmy Butler, to try to rental and try to work out? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about the Jimmy Butler saga drama going on down in South Beach. Quickly before I go, the NBA All-Star starters were announced. East and West, no problems. I agree wholeheartedly with the East lineup, with the West lineup. But and I'm going to break this down with my boy Michael Miles on Saturday coming up. Why the NBA, it's just not appealing no more. Of course, we know what the ratings are going down, and a lot of people are just not tuned in the way they are. Is it too many games going on? Is it the everybody wants to shoot threes instead of the highlight dunks and the highlight plays that they used to have? The All-Star game is just not the same. It is boring, it's whack. I'm gonna go on record and probably say it's probably the worst All-Star venue ever. Like All-Star thing, anything. Like it's just not appealing like it used to be. And this is just me talking. Like I will watch some highlights of the Grizzlies. Of course, I watch because I have to tell you guys how I look at things for the Memphis Grizzlies. I will watch, but any other time the Grizzlies are not playing or there's a marquee game going on, it's like 2 out of 10 times I'll watch it, but the other times I'm watching old highlights of old games. Um, the old NBA is fun. It was defensive. It was highlights. They just didn't shoot 53s the way they do. It is more appealing back then to watch the NBA than it is right now. And I don't know what the solution is. I really don't know if they need to do like a Ibram rule where they go to a target score, or they need to cut down the minutes down, or cut the games down from 82 to 75, 72. I don't know, but it's just not appealing the way it used to. And we need solutions. We need like marquee eye solutions that can help the NBA be to where it used to be. A marquee televised game. The NFL has just taken over globally, internationally. It took over. I don't know. Maybe with NBC coming back next year to do NBA games, Amazon Prime is doing NBA games next year. Maybe they could get back to that level and all that, but it's not in a good space right now. It's not in a good space, but me and my boy Michael Myers will break down what we think about the NBA, the state of the NBA right now, good, bad, ugly. Like we're gonna break all that down, and also major conversation, maybe gun violence. We're gonna break all that. We're gonna break down the NBA part of that Saturday, along with some very, very major discussion and major topics we want to bring up. So you guys, please stay tuned for that episode coming up later this week. All right, you guys, that will conclude another wonderful episode of the Throw It Down Big Fella podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. I once again ask you guys to please, please, please subscribe to my podcast on YouTube at Throw It Down Big Fella, and also follow on Instagram at Throw It Down Big Fella Pod. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys next time. Until then, peace out.
Throw it down, big man.